Let's get this party started. I'm back, and we're making eggplant mushroom meatballs. Oh, yes, we are. Now look at that. You cannot tell me that that doesn't just look scrumptious. And I've done a little cooking in advance so that we could make this pretty quickly. I want you guys to see how easily you can feed your whole family for dinner and make it super snappy. Okay, so we need mushrooms, don't we? And onions, of course, because who can really cook without onions, and why would you ever want to? Okay, so I have my, you can probably see them already on my cutting board. I have my onions that I've been chopping, and I also have a mushroom right here, sort of a medium-sized mushroom, and I'm just gonna dice it up and then get to sautéing. So if I've had a tricky week, which this week has been a tricky week, I love to chop vegetables. It makes me very relaxed. It's one of the things that I do that is joyful. I love to have my hands touching vegetables and chopping away, and it gets kind of my creative juices flowing, because if I'm busy and I don't have a lot of downtime for me, then I get to kind of breathe and chop vegetables, and it just feels wonderful. Okay, so but like I said, I've been cooking a little bit before you guys got here, so I have my onions already sautéed. You can see what this looks like over here, and I've told you guys this before, I always salt and pepper as I go, because if you do it at the end, then I'm afraid you're gonna over salt. So I've got my onions sautéing over there, and then I have my mushrooms. You make the world go round. I've got my mushrooms right here when I put it in the light so you can see it. Mushrooms are great because sometimes I sauté them in mushroom broth if I want to not have the oil, but mushrooms are great because they themselves bring all this beautiful liquid to whatever recipe you're doing. So you can see these guys are already sautéed up. I mean, I'll get them warm just for the fun of it, but they're pretty much done here. And then, like I said, when I make these things, I salt and pepper as I go. They're already salted and peppered, but I do that just so that I don't overdo it at the end. Okie dokie. So let's add this to my Cuisinart. Now, I've told you guys this before as well. If you think Cuisinart, oh my gosh, I can't afford it, just know that I got this guy refurbished on Amazon, 59 bucks. So anybody could and should have one of these things, because you get to mix everything together and it makes life really easy. So I have this guy. I'm just going to do this right here. Now sometimes things fall out. Okay, kitchens get messy. That's okay. That's part of the creative process. A messy kitchen is can be a part of the creative process. But another thing I always like to tell you guys is, first of all, that these pans are super heavy, so know that in advance. So if you're gonna cook with these, I have to rest it on the thing because these things are so heavy. So if you're gonna cook with one of these, then you kind of be prepared. Anyways, in goes my mushrooms. Yum, yum, yum. I don't know if you can see, I hope you can, that there's still all this juice at the bottom of the frying pan, which is so good. Okay, anyways, this is gonna be one of those recipes where you get to just put everything in, hit the button, and then you kind of got your meal, which is great. Okay, so remember I said mushroom eggplant. So now where's the eggplant? So far we have very little oil. Okay, I'm bringing out my eggplant. Kind of a medium eggplant. It's not that big. This is, I'll just say medium eggplant. So I just baked this around 400, and I did what I usually do, which is I put it in the oven and then I kind of forgot about it, took a shower, came back, voila, it was done. So these recipes are not hard. I guess that's my point there. So I take the skin off, put that skin right there. Hold on, people. I take the skin off, and usually when you've baked it for as long as I have, skin just falls right off, and therein lies the beauty. So I'm gonna have all this juicy eggplant, which, just like the mushrooms, has all of its juice. Oh, see how beautiful that is? Now, obviously I've let it cool, so it's not, be careful. Things get obviously hot. Oh, you see that liquid? Can you see that liquid coming through? Oh, so many comments coming through right now on Facebook that I can't even see my own liquid falling in this, but thanks for your comments, everybody, and thanks for watching, and I hope you're sharing, because it's dinner time. say, whoa, you see, so loose that the eggplant's just falling right off. This is beautiful. This is just what we want. Oh my gosh, it's an eggplant in perfect shape. So I'm gonna pull this apart. It is still warm inside, so watch out. But it's always great to get your hands dirty. You know, I think those who love to garden love to cook because they love to have their hands and fingers all up in it. So that's my eggplant, that's my onion, that's my mushroom. So now, oh, how I love you. Light life tempeh. You're beautiful. Okay, so this thing of tempeh right here has 2.5 servings. Each serving is 16 grams of protein. That means the whole thing is 40 grams of protein. So I still want to hear, like, what do vegans eat and how do they get their protein? Because they get it from a gazillion things, including mushrooms. Things like mushrooms have protein as well, but they also get it from beautiful things like tempeh, which is fermented soy. So I'm just cutting through the package. They at Light Life like to double package, and I'm going to use about 2/3. And then again, we're getting our hands dirty, so I'm just going to crumble this all up. I'm taking all the space in my Cuisinart, which is so great. So just to kind of recap, we've got onions, mushrooms, eggplant, and tempeh. So we've got the base. But what's the point of meat? Spices. That's the only thing that makes meat taste like meat, is the spices. So we're about to go to town. This is one of those recipes where you just, like, anything you got, put it in. And I'll show you all the things that I have that I'm gonna put in. So hold on here. All right. First, I'm putting in dill. Ooh, la 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 la. And another thing about cooking is you kind of have to feel it, you know, and a lot is to your taste. So if you're a mushroom freak, well, add more mushrooms. I added 12 mushrooms, but if you're a mushroom freak, add 15. Saute 15. So here we've got some dill. I'm gonna put in some dill, but if you're crazy about dill, then put in more. So I do a huge pinch of dill. Oregano, this is just fun. Okay, oregano, basil. Of course, I've been salt and peppering the whole way through. I also have something that I really love, which is called smoky salt. We bought so much of it because we love it that then we put it in this little container. But smoky salt is just wonderful, and it gives it a depth that regular salt does not. So I like to put in, whoa, hey ho. I like to put in a lot. But of course, if now, again, you have to make this to your taste. So of course, if you are having conversations with your doctor about, you know, holding back on the salt, then you got to do that. And I'm sorry, if that's the conversation you're having, I am sorry, because smoky salt is a super fun thing. But more than smoky salt, I want you to know that the answer to all things, in my opinion, that you try to make taste like meat or even meat itself, is cumin. So cumin's one of those things that can be a little bitter, so you don't want to add too much, and sometimes I get a little bit like overzealous with the cumin. But I'm just gonna try to not add a heaping tablespoon, because I've done that before and it got too bitter. Just a regular tablespoon of, kind of a flat tablespoon of cumin. Now I like my stuff spicy, so I've got a Spanish paprika, which is different than a sweet paprika. So this is gonna be super spicy. And that's how I like it. Oh my gosh. So how many things do I have here? Dill, basil, oregano, cumin, black salt, smoky salt, spicy paprika, and now something that I got at the Spice House in Chicago. Oh, how I love the Spice House. I love the Spice House, and I'll be back because I need more stuff. They just call it Mr. Spice House. It's like their classic thing for meat. So I was like, well, all right. I mean, because they know at the Spice House, they know that what makes meat taste good is the spices. Thank you, Spice House. So I've got something here, so many things in it, I can't even list them all, but it's called Mr. Spice House. Okay, so Mr. Spice House is also going in. All of this is a tablespoon. And of course, you can get this recipe on my website, ElysabethAlfano.com, and I'm gonna have all the measurements. So a tablespoon here, a teaspoon there. It'll all be on my website, Elysabeth, Elysabeth. Now, nooch. We also have so much nutritional yeast that we put it in this container, but you're gonna do 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Uno, dos. See, this is why you want all the juice from your mushrooms and your eggplant, because it's gonna infuse into the nooch. So that's kind of good. Then for good measure, because I always do this with my meat as well, I'm gonna do a tablespoon of soy. There you go, that's always nice. And, oh yeah, I'm not done yet, I'm not done. Okay, so there are lots of ingredients, but most of them are just simple spices. So hopefully you guys can see this. I've got a lot going on here, but hopefully you can see this. Back to my cutting board, fresh mint. Now, I got this from my mama. Always put fresh mint in your meat dishes. So, of course, we're not making meat, but when she would make meat, she would put them in her meat dishes. And so now if I'm making a vegan lasagna, I'm making a vegan pasta bolognese, I'm making vegan meatballs, always dice up some fresh mint. So, now it's kind of summer, you get lots of mint, which is good. So I'm just gonna dice this super fast and then throw it into my Cuisinart. And I think before I hit the button, I think I only have one more ingredient besides an extra bit of salt and pepper for fun, is that I'm gonna have roasted garlic. Now, you see, we haven't done anything major here. We've just basically added a bunch of spices. Roasted garlic, you'll take a whole head of garlic, I put it in tin foil, I snip off the top, and then again, I go away and I forget about it. And when I come back, it's all roasted and I can peel it away like I'm gonna do now. And I like my stuff spicy, I like my stuff garlicky. So I go for 4 cloves of garlic. Now, if you are not a garlic fan, and I did meet one person who's Italian, Stefania, I'm talking to you, she doesn't like garlic. So you never know. I mean, I love garlic because I'm Sicilian and I gotta have it, but every once in a while there's somebody out there who doesn't like garlic. And of course, if that's you, then don't do it. But for me, it's a must, and I'm peeling my garlic now. Now, garlic, here's another little thing. People always say, oh, who's got time to peel garlic? And I agree. Who's got time to peel garlic? And usually I'm all about making it fast and doing, cutting around the edges if you have to. Don't do it with garlic. Don't do it. So if you're in the store and you see one of those huge things of garlic with all the garlic peeled and sitting in the juices and stuff, which I don't even know what that is. I think that's like chloride water. I don't know what that is. But it's if it's just hanging out there, don't do it. Just garlic's got to be fresh, and that's what makes good garlic. So it does take a little bit of time, just like peeling even the roasted garlic. Now I'm peeling it, and I do have to kind of pry it free because it's mushy and sticky and yummy. It's making my house smell so great. Ooh, that one came off nice. You see that? How fast that was? Okay, so I'm gonna do one more because I love it. So it does take a little bit of time. Yeah, okay, all right. Makes your fingers sticky, whatever. I like it, and I don't want to buy it from a store already prepackaged. Okay, now I am going to, like I said, resalt just a little bit for good measure. Hold on, people, hold on. Oh, getting my garlic free. Okay, the garlic's free. Okay. Oh, sorry, one more ingredient before I forget. I know it seems like it's a lot, but put this over to the side. Now, if you had a bad week, this is where you really get to have fun. I bought this in Puerto Rico. An artist made this. It's been hand carved. I have my very favorite wasa crackers. I always get these. I love these things, wasa crackers. You can see I ripped the box. I was so interested in getting into my wasa crackers. So I make my own breadcrumbs, and I just, cracker crumbs, I guess. I just do it this way. Get everything in my bowl, all kind of chopped up. Break all the crackers, and then I really get my emotions out. Okay, so this kind of feels good. But I like to do this. I'm just making my own breadcrumbs. This is mortar and pestle. This is super handy. It's like older than the hills. I think it's the oldest cooking tool ever in existence. And people still use it, like me, and I like to, this is just a fun thing. Whoops. I think I said sometimes your kitchen gets messy. So one of the things about a messy kitchen when I'm cooking, okay, we're all done, is I try to clean as I go. Otherwise, it's overwhelming. So I just try to clean as I go. Hope you guys can see that. I'm putting this in. Oh, my Cuisinart is so super full. Okay. pepper just to for good measure. Okay. And then right about now, you should be putting your oven on 375 and getting it all warmed up. Okay. Now, here we go. My handy dandy Cuisinart, it's gonna do its magic. So no real finessing here. Everything goes in and boom. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna clean up a little. It's doing well, but this turned out really good. You can see some of the tempeh is still in there in its chunks. Some of the mint is also still in there in its chunks. It's wonderful. Okay, so now I'm going to, of course, we all have clean hands. I, obviously, cleaned my hands before I got cooking. So I'm just going to do what we Italians do. And that is, I'm gonna make a meatball. Oh, nice and warm. It's nice and warm because my mushrooms and my onions were warm. And I like to make them about this big, and I just roll them in my hands. Really feels like I'm with my Italian grandmother. And I put them on the parchment paper. Parchment paper is awesome because it doesn't, stick to the pan, keeps all the things that you put on it, whatever you do in baking. It won't stick to the pan, which is wonderful. That's too small. I'm not doing that. My meatballs are larger. So I'm just gonna make, this guy's kind of big. I love this. I love this. It's like Play-Doh as a kid. So that guy's kind of a big meatball. I won't do too many more like him. He's a little too big. But you get the idea, and I'm not gonna make all of them, but you get the idea. I line this up on my parchment lined tray, baking sheet, and I cook it at about 375. Now usually I do it for 35 minutes. And then by the time they're ready, it's awesome. And at the same time that I'm doing this, I'm making linguine pasta. So these are gonna look like this. I'm going to bake them. So very little oil has happened here, people. Particularly if you're gonna saute your onions and your mushrooms in mushroom broth, then you have no oil whatsoever. So meanwhile, at the same time, you'll be making your pasta sauce. Super easy. Saute garlic and onions with a can of tomato sauce, just a can, just put it in, and a little basil and oregano. And then at the same time, you're also boiling your pasta. And here's a lesson about pasta. No matter what it says on the box, you don't want to follow the directions. So this linguine said between 7 and 9 minutes. Do not do that. I cooked it for 5.5, and the reason is because then I'm gonna continue to cook it so that it has the taste of the tomato sauce. So I'm gonna combine some of the pasta and tomato sauce. So the pasta will keep cooking. And if you actually follow the directions on the box or the bag that you bought it in, you'll overcook it and it will no longer be al dente, and that's the worst. So once you have it all together, you'll have your al dente pasta with simple tomato sauce. We want garlic, onions, and tomatoes. That's all. Salt and pepper, oregano, basil. And then you have your 3 meatballs. Here's an example of, and then I put some mint around just to make it pretty. But here's an example of my mushroom eggplant meatballs on linguine pasta with some tomato sauce, and it's super yummy.